Welcome to the penultimate episode of the exercise application assignment, episode 35. So I'm not gonna forget like last time where I went into the lecture stuff first. So let's see, what did I do in the gym today? Today was what was it? It was a leg day. So I did, what was it? I started out, I couldn't do the standing calf raise machine. So I had to go do the leg press calf raises on the horizontal leg press, which was decent. It was okay. And then from there I went into the seated hamstring curls, and then I went to a barbell squat instead of a Smith machine, because it was packed out. Smith machines were taken, they always are. And actually it wasn't too bad. I was able to use a toe board this time instead of like sitting up on a plate. And I gotta say the toe board felt pretty good, and I think I'm considering just running a rotation with the barbell squat for a while, because my Smith machine squat has kind of gotten, a little stale, maybe, kind of stagnated just a little bit, and maybe it's time to just rotate that in, if nothing else for funsies, because it was kind of fun when I did it, so why not? It's essentially the same thing, it's just less stable. And then after that, I did my Romanian deadlifts, stiff-legged Romanian deadlifts. Those felt pretty good. Got an excellent stretch. I feel like my form's getting a lot better on those. And then after that, what did I do? I did single leg extensions instead of sissy squats. And you know what? I liked it. It was good. And then I was going to do the adductor machine, but it was taken. I'd been checking on it like throughout the workout. Note taken. Every time there's some white girl on it, and I just can't seem to get to that machine. So usually what I do is I just throw it in whenever I'm at the gym. Sometimes when I go back and I train one of my clients, after I'm done training them, I'll just go and I'll hit a set there if it's open. Let's see. So let's talk about training adaptations. Let's talk about detraining, because I've worked with clients. Sometimes they come in from a long time of detraining, and I was able to remind one of my clients, like, hey, like back when you were training, like that wasn't that long ago. Like, what was it, about a year ago? 32 weeks? That's at least the example, that the book uses, and that's about a year, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, dude, in like 6 weeks, we can get you back to about where you were, if you really hunker down and do it. Because that's what we see. Because basically, when, hypertrophy happens, you get more satellite cell recruitment. Your satellite cells become myonuclei because they have to maintain the nucleus to muscle fiber ratio, because you think the nucleus can only control so much cell at a time, so you have to, at a certain point when you get hypertrophy, you're going to have to add more nuclei. It just makes sense. And what are nuclei? They just contain DNA, which is protein instructions. So we need more protein instruction factories. We need more managers for the protein factories that are the ribosomes. So you keep those myonuclei for a long time. If you're decently active, you might be sedentary, but you might not be, bedridden, or in a cast. Your muscles are getting some sort of work, so they're not going to completely atrophy. But you're going to be able to have that comeback. Why? Because the nucleus to fiber ratio is much higher now. Your nuclei are still there, but there's maybe less contractile proteins. When you start synthesizing protein, stimulating that, you're going to have way more muscle gains right off the bat, and regain your stuff in about 6 weeks, which is pretty insane, especially when you compare it to endurance training, where you're losing like 1% of your adaptations a day that you don't during endurance train. Let's see. What else is there? Talk about hormones, testosterone, IGF-1 and GH. They play a role, certainly. People who take testosterone, anabolic steroids, and stuff of that nature obviously do see an increase in muscle protein synthesis and what's the term, super physiological amounts of muscle. They actually play a small role, is what the book says, because hypertrophy can happen without these hormones being present. That's what they say. Anti-inflammatory drugs are not detrimental to hypertrophy, which I thought was interesting, because I thought, in order to repair, you got to have the inflammation response. But when you consider that it's not necessarily muscle damage, the old myth, you got to break it down to build it up, boy. It's not exactly the case. But yeah, cut it up right there.